Good morning. Do not forget to like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. It's almost mid-September and the subscription is like 26 persons. Like, why am I making content for 26 persons? All right, so good morning. Good morning, good morning. So today is a work day. I'm going in office today. Should be a very productive day today. Yeah. So what we gonna talk about while I traverse to work? I don't know. Let's see. Let's talk about. Right. So let's do a little get to know me and how I started out in corporate Jamaica, corporate world. So I'm actually a trained certified teacher. That's my profession. That's what I went to college for. So when I finished college, I moved to Kingston to live with my mother, and I was job hunting for teaching jobs. Mind you, I did teaching because I thought that, well, my grandparents thought that it was a so-called profession that you should be in. So if you're not a teacher, doctor, nurse, or you work in a bank, you haven't made it. So I opted to do teaching. So when I finished college, I moved to Kingston, lived with my mom, and was doing active job hunting. Teaching profession, of course. Teaching market is very competitive, and nobody told me that it would have been that difficult to get a job as a teacher. Fast forward, sent out applications to many schools, didn't get a job or a call back or a feedback, nothing. So I started to look in other things. At the time, BPOs were fairly new on the market because I didn't want to sit at home. So I decided I wanted to go and do something. It doesn't matter what until I get a teaching job. So my first BPO job was at Fulgram. That's off Oxford Road, I believe. I think so, yeah. Somewhere there near Crossroad area. That was my first BPO job. I don't remember what it was paying per hour, but I know as a 20-something, early 20-something year old, it was okay. It was livable because, again, I was living with my mom, so I wasn't paying rent. I was just contributing. And then from that, it was a minimal contribution because, BPO money is not enough. But what I did not know was that I would be signing up for a cycle of shifts. So you work in the mornings, you work afternoon shifts, you work night shifts. So that was like a different level of stress on my body. But I didn't complain. I just pushed through. I didn't spend a lot of time there. At the time, I was working at Fulgram, but they have contracted services with overseas entities. So the entity that I was working with while employed there was a Canadian company. Swishly is the name of the company. And the experience was good. I learned a lot. I mean, being a Jamaican and then having to interact with Canadians, they could visibly tell that you're not Canadian just by the first word. But I still succeeded in that. And I wasn't there for long. I was there for like 6-8 months, thereabouts. Yeah, I wasn't there for long. Yeah, so I wasn't there for a really long time. So I remember when I left, I actually got a call from, I think, the supervisor or the manager, that the manager overseas in Canada was asking why I left. You know, I did so well, blah, blah, blah. But I left. One, the pay was shitty and it was too much of a stressful environment that I did not appreciate. And then I was home for maybe three months. And then I got another BPO job. This one was with Sutherland Global in New Kingston. They were in New Kingston at the time. And that one was, oh my God, it was a roller coaster, but a learning curve at the same time. So got employed to Sutherland Global. And then the account that I was working with was Amazon FBA. So it was emails, and I believe some form of phone calls. And while I was there, it wasn't all that bad. I actually liked what I did. It was pretty easy to me. And the pay wasn't so bad. It was a little bit more than what I was earning at Fulgram. However, this one at Sutherland, the shifts were crazy. You basically work a 24-hour shift, not in the same day, but the rotation. So you work mornings, afternoons, evenings, nights, and overnight shifts, because emails don't stop in. People want to know, or seller emails and customer emails, they have to be answered. So that's that. Fast forward, how did I leave? Did I get fired from Sutherland or did I leave voluntarily? I think I got fired. And the termination could have been appealed. I did not appeal it. It was wrongful termination or misunderstanding, to say the least. Mind you, I've never been fired from anywhere. So it didn't come as a shocker to me. But for the most part, I was quite frankly disappointed, because the situation that I was in actually made me got fired. But that's another story. So did Sutherland, then I went home. Wasn't doing anything again, still job hunting. But I met this girl that we worked the accounts together, and she was now working at Digicel. So I did apply to Digicel on the Play side as a sales rep. So I did the interview for Digicel Play, which is a home service now known as, I think, Digicel Plus, and I did not get the job. Then I told the friend at the time that, hey, I applied and I didn't get the job, and she was like, oh, don't worry, send me a resume and I will speak to my manager on the corporate side digital business and put in a good word for you. Went in, same sales role. Keep in mind, I don't know anything about sales. I don't have any experience in sales. I remember going to that interview and almost bawled my entire eyes out because I was so nervous and so anxious. And when I went into the interview, 2 males interviewers, and they were really nice and receptive. And I remember I was in a royal blue dress and I had a gold watch on my arm. And he asked one of the managers, he was actually one of the managers there, he asked me, if I've ever sold before. And I was like, no. And he said to me, tell me how you would sell me this gold watch on your hand. And I babbled something and they were sold. And I don't think they were sold on the fact that I could sell. I think they were sold on the fact that, she can work, pan. And I got the job. I think one of those managers are still at Digicel and the other one now is with Flow. And big up to both of you, because I think hiring persons, whether HR or hiring managers, they want to see that level of experience when they're hiring persons. And trust me, I did not have any experience, but I was willing to learn. That's all I knew. And I wanted to learn, and I wanted to win, and I wanted to succeed. So that was my motivation. Fast forward again, got the job, started November 2016. I will never forget that. November 2016. Keep in mind, I don't know how to sell. Went in, I was placed on a team, had a few familiar faces who would have told me, little bits and tricks on what to do in terms of the in-house keeping administrative stuff. And then you go out on the road. Basically, the role was a sales rep, but they call it feet on the street, where you go out and sell to small, medium, and sometimes large entities. I was a newbie, so it was small pop-up shops. Did you sell internet too? And that internet service was for corporate customers, not home, but corporate Jamaica. So I did that. I remember I sucked at it. So on a weekly basis, the managers would present a dashboard and you would see where you fall on that dashboard. And I believe for 2 or 3 months straight, I was at the bottom of the dashboard. Remember, I'm new. So persons would have been there for quite some time. Persons who came in with me would have been up on the dashboard. I was at the bottom of the dashboard. And I remember telling my supervisor at the time that if I don't make any sale, I'm going to leave. And I remember he took me out. Big up yourself, I won't call any name, the person. He took me on the road and, was showing me the ropes, like, call this person and let me hear how you pitch. Because with sales, you have to pitch or present. It was more so of a transactional sales more than a consultative sale approach. So he did an example. He called, we were driving past this truck and there was a number on it. And he would have done a cold call, that's the terminology, call the company, ask them if they have any interest in obtaining internet service, what they're using, blah, 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 costs, blah, blah, blah. So it was my turn and he gave me some pointers as to the approach that I should take when interacting with customers. And I did that. And I did that for quite some time. We sat down, we had lunch, and there were certain things that he would have taught me that kind of helped with, winning or making those sales. Fast forward again, I actually started to excel in the role. Trust me, it wasn't easy. Rain, sun, snow, sleet, storm. I was out on the road. Me and my coworker at the time were still really pretty close. We would walk downtown, Spanish Town, Kingston vicinity, New Kingston, Half a Tree, walk. So you would transport yourself. So you get the list of customers, or you go find your list of customers. You make those calls, or you go and knock on doors, corporate doors. Any corporate business place, it doesn't matter the size, because the goal is to make a sale. And the goal is to get on the board by the end of the month. So you have 1 month to reach to your target. I think when I just started to hit numbers, the target was around $500 US. And then the more money you start to bring into the business, your target then increases. So yeah, I would do that. Sun, fleet, shoes are burn me, skin burn up, clothes hot, sweating. Yeah, the whole works. I did that. And then gradually I got better and better at it, to the point where I was at the top of the board, and I was so happy. And of course, in digital, they reward you once you do well. So there were little perks that came with being top performers. You get recognized, you get your certifications, little treats. And my manager at the time, oh my God, she was so nice. I remember I was taking taxis and I wanted a car so badly. There were two things that I wanted to do. One was clear my student loan, which when I started to make real good money, I did that. And that started, I was at FOTS. So I cleared my student loan. And then my other goal was obtaining a car. Now, I couldn't afford a brand new car, or that's what I told myself, that I can't afford a brand new car. So my manager at the time, a female, she was so gracious and so kind. She took me on the road to get the loan, to get the car, because she had a friend who worked at the bank, and she also had a friend that had a car mart. So it was all about relationship building and managing those relationships, to the point where she was able to leverage that and extended that to me. I got my first car, and it was a Suzuki Swift, and that was in 2017. So within a year, that was actually November 2017, within a year, I cleared my student loan and I obtained my first vehicle. And fast forward again, got my car. Mind you, when I got my car, I could not drive. So I did 10 lessons at, is it Keys Driving? That driving school in Half a Tree. I did 10 lessons. When I got my driver's license, like I got my driver's license today, and I got the car the next day. So my driver's license was 1 day old. I remember I was shopping around for insurance. My insurance was like $200,000 because my driver's license was a day old. And nobody wanted to insure me because I believe the term they used was I was high risk. And I think I got my car insurance through Advantage General. Again, that was another relationship from the bank through my manager at the time. So yeah, I got the car, and the first day, or the second or third day I drove it, I had an accident while parallel parking. And my supervisor at the time, he was there with me, sat with me. It wasn't nothing major. It was just the front end of the car that was damaged, but it wasn't any big accident. I wasn't driving or anything, and nobody was injured. And I sat there, waited on the person to come down, because it was another digital worker car that I had hit while parallel parking. So I got He came down, I gave him my information. He went and did his assessment at his mechanic. I paid over the monies, took my car to the garage, had that fixed, and had his car fixed. And from there, thanks be to God, it has been smooth sailing since. And for me, the lesson that I learned from actually having to teach myself to drive while just owning a car is that you can do anything. You just have to be patient and give yourself grace. And look at me now driving like a pro. Yeah, so then fast forward again, they're doing my thing, performing. We have car now, so I can drive to more places, meet more customers, target increase, sale increase, meeting the target. And then you had another arm of business solutions or digital business known as ICT. Now, they were the creme de la creme of digital business. And trust me, my eyes were zoned in on being a part of that team. So my now friend, she went over to that because she was a top performer. Two of the top performers went over to that team, one as an account manager and then one in ICT sales. So it was something really admirable and something that I wanted to do for myself, because after a while, walking up and down on the road is not sustainable. You get tired, you get frustrated, it's repetitive and becomes mundane. But it taught me a lot that I appreciate so much. Fast forward, there was, I think, one role open to obtain another ICT person on the team, and it was me and my friend up for the role. We did the interviews with the managers that we knew well, and I so happened to get the role. Trust me, I was over the moon. I was excited. So I did that. Trust me, ICT, I thought it would have been so much smoother, so much easier. It was way harder than I had anticipated. But I did it. I scraped through. I still did well. I got recognized, got certs, performed. Some months met targets, some months didn't meet targets, but I still learned. Now, being on the ICT team, it was more consultative because now you're not just selling internet service. It's not a transaction anymore. It's more of a monthly recurring service that you're selling to corporate customers. And these corporate customers were not only small mom and pop shops, but large enterprise entities. More so small to medium SMB customers that I managed, because then you had other account managers who would have managed government and more enterprise corporate customers. So I did that for quite some time. Roles changed, the department changed, manager changed, business changes. I got promoted again. Fast forward, I got promoted again, or role change, to a strategic account manager. So I was business account executive, and then I was sales rep. Then I moved to ICT business executive, ICT business exec. Then I moved to strategic account manager. And anybody who knows working in corporates or digital, it's not for the faint of heart. It's high intensity, can be very, very stressful because so much is expected of you. I didn't spend much time in the strategic role because at this point I was a bit tired tired mentally, emotionally, physically, and I just wanted a change of environment. It was really, really stressful. Mind you, there were issues there, but every workplace has its issues, has its ups and downs and whatever. There were changes that I did not like, I wasn't willing to live with. And so instead of sitting down there, warming bench or seat or chair, I decided that I wanted to venture out into something else. I wanted to leave. Keep in mind, I did not know what I was going to do. All I knew was that I was going to leave. And I left. I resigned. And, of course, I was asked what was the reason. Yada, yada, yada. Told them the reason. They convinced me to stay. I did not. I was adamant that this wasn't for me anymore because it was messing with my mental health at that point. And so I left. I was at home for about 2-3 months. Got a call. I did interviews. I did an interview for another service provider. I did not like their T's and C's, and so I turned down that role. Then I got a call from a former co-worker that I would have worked with at Digicel, and he told me, yo, this person is hiring, yada yada yada. I thought about you, and you would be suited for this role. Met with the CEO of the company. I was impressed. Of course, when you're meeting with an entity for the first time, they're gonna roll out the red carpet and the roses and all the fluff and butterflies and everything. Really, really impressed. Did a round of interviews. I did about 3 or 4 interviews for that role. Got the role. Started the August of the same year that I left Digicel. I won't name the company that I went to, but yeah. I got the role, went in, everything started out smoothly. And then once you're in a company, you start to learn certain things about the organization that didn't sit well with you. And I'm not the type of person to waste people's time or try to, I guess, do shorthand work. Like, if I'm committed, I'm committed. I spent like almost a year there, because then I wasn't feeling it. I wanted something else. I wanted to work with another company, or I was just not feeling it. And so I left the December. I resigned, and I didn't know my head from my foot. But at the time, one of the managers who I'd worked with at Digicel had reached out to me and said, hey, we got something for you. And I was so grateful, because when I left the second company that I was with, I did not know. I was broke. I did not know what I was gonna do. Like, I was doing this little, I laugh about it, but I'm so serious. I was doing this little $20 US job online, and that was partially sustaining me. And I remember telling my now manager that, I'm working this $20 job. Like, I would check up like every week to see if they're hiring, yada yada yada, like, when is this gonna come through? And then at one point, I remember, I think I was at the nail salon, getting my nails done, and I got the call that, hey, we're ready to move forward with the hiring process. And I was so happy and excited, because I know that particular manager, my now manager, is somebody who I could trust. I wouldn't have to question anything at all. I know that he had my back. So I went in, did rounds of interviews again, met with the VPs, and it's an international company that I work for now. So I would have met with the VPs, met with different heads, met with HR, and I got the job. And I'm here now. So I rambled all of that to say that it doesn't matter where you start, how you start, it's the vision that you have for yourself, and keep on believing in yourself no matter the odds. Always stay true to yourself. Have a vision, have goals for yourself, and for whether it's your personal development or career development, align yourself with like-minded people who can steer you in the direction or give you words of encouragement that will steer you into the direction that you envision for yourself. And no matter what, just keep going. One day you'll get there. One day everything that you dreamed of, manifested, prayed about will come to fruition. Trust me, I'm the living testimony. I'm a living testimony of all of that. Work hard, because nothing in this life comes easy, and anything comes easy goes even easier. I can tell you that. In order for you to be successful, you have to put in the work, day in, day out. You have to make that sacrifice, whether you're going to school, whether it's with your career, you're working, whether it's with your families, friends, you have to put in that work. So keep pushing, keep working hard, and the sky is not the limit. That's what I oftentimes tell myself. The sky is not the limit. Once I put my mind to something, I know that I can do it. So those are my 2 cents.